Hey, what's up, guys? Sam here, and I'll be doing the free video for Friday, June 2nd, 2023. So, another week is in the books. Just wrapped up the video, the premium video for the fine folks in the Gold Room. And I'm going to give you guys just basically an abridged version of what I covered there. There's two things to note going into next week. I'll give you the Cliff's Notes right away, so you can get to a cat video on YouTube, which is what's important. We've been talking about these 618 levels on the SPY, the 430 level, and then the 350 level on the QQQ, and we're almost basically there on the SPY. It's a really important level that you should have on your charts at 430 level, because basically it's the 618 golden ratio of the entire high to low drop, and it just so happens to be the previous high here. So based on how the market's moving, I have absolutely no doubt that it wants to at least probe up here and kind of take out any, long-standing shorts that might still be above this level. There's also an argument to be made here, at least going into the summer, that this thing's trying to have kind of this giant reversal pattern that would trigger in full above a break above 430. And the target on that, and this sounds nutty to say, but I'll say it. The target on that, if it were to break 430, would be 500 on SPY, which is pretty wild stuff. That would imply a brand new all-time high. But one step at a time. We see each other every week, so we don't have to jump the gun that much. But just be aware that is in the pattern. However, if bears have any self-respect, and you shouldn't expect them to have any self-respect, 430 is their last stand. However, as we get to this level, the signals are only improving, right? You had thrust signals down here, everything lined up here when you had the positive crossover. This is continuing to improve. This has had no issue whatsoever, right? So I'm just going to circle kind of what's good. This is good. This is not great, but it is bull neutral, and you do have active thrust higher, so that takes care of it. So the level here on SPY to know is just 430, right? Let's keep it simple. 430 SPY. On the Qs, it's 350, and the Qs have already gotten above that level. This isn't really where the story is, though, this week, right? This is just more of the same. We've seen this now for a number of weeks, especially in the QQQ. The story, I would say, is probably transitioning just a little bit to the IWM. The hated IWM. So overnight, China did have a stimulus package that went through. Again, the market was just needs a reason to do something, right? The China stimulus could be, the $20, and the market would take that as a resounding reason to squeeze shorts in any part of the market that are left. And I would imagine that a lot of the tech shorts, they're dead, right? They've been dead. There's no way you can survive the tech rally if you've been short. However, the IWM shorts have not been touched. How can you tell? Because they've been congregating in this box for months, right? And now you're starting to kind of take the top off this box here, above the daily 200. You do it on volume, and you have a little bit of a story behind you now. We saw some of the best breadth readings that we've had in the market today, and that's largely a function of shorts being squeezed here in the IWM. So if tech, this is the part one, if tech, the 8 stocks that have driven the entire rally, if those just stay stable, right, stable to slightly up, they don't even have to do anything. They could come in now at basically flat on the day every day. But if the 8 mega cap tech stocks that have driven the rally stay stable, and the IWM then starts to perform, with all of its 2,000 underlying components that really suck, that is going to create the fuel for the SPY to drive through that 430 level, and it's going to be basically uncapped at that point. So one thing for you to watch going into next week, and I'm going to give it to you with the IWM. If you're a little bit savvier, you could check out the RSP. The RSP is the equal weight S&P 500. You're going to get kind of the same vibe from both. So RSP I think is a little bit more articulate, but either one will be fine. If you continue to see strength in IWM or because it'll be the same, RSP, which is the equal weight 500 S&P 500, then they really got something here. right? Because then that means that the rally is starting to broaden out. And there is actually a setup here for a potential monster summer rally, because these names that haven't done anything have so many folks that are short hiding in them. They're long tech, short this, that if that starts to change at all, you're going to create all kinds of upward movement. And the charts certainly support it. You know, you have lots of squeezes in all these different types of names. So the second point that I'll make here, and I'm going to pull up RSP here just so you can kind of just know that this exists. I don't know if everybody knows it exists, but this is basically what the S&P 500 would look like if Apple, Microsoft, Google, Tesla, Nvidia, if they were weighted as any other stock. So if it was just 500 stocks as opposed to Apple being worth like, 30% of the index. I say that jokingly. This is what the S&P 500 would look like, right? And I think, just looking at the pattern, I think a lot of folks, day one trading, they're like, oh, this is a giant Head and Shoulders. And it very well may turn out to be. It hasn't actually proven anything. It'd have to break here. But we've seen this pattern many times, and oftentimes folks think it's going to do this. And in reality, what it ends up being is just a huge reason to squeeze to the upside. So kind of keep this one in your back pocket. It's the equal weight S&P 500. And if you continue to see this move up, the market is poised for a big move for the summer. The second point I'll make, and then I'll let you go watch some cat videos on YouTube. Also, before the end of the video here, leave us a like, leave us a dislike, and leave us a comment. You can choose a like or a dislike. It doesn't matter to me. Just interact with the page. Click the thumbs up. Click the thumbs down. That's all the algorithm cares about. And do leave us a comment or a question. Let us know what your dog's name is. Let us know what your cat's name is. If you have a fish, that's cool too. Let us know what that is. And if you happen to have a dachshund, then I'll personally message you if you happen to have a dachshund. But the last point of the video here, the first part was the potential for a very strong rotation and broadening of the rally and broadening of breadth under the market, which benefits everything that hasn't rallied, so basically everything except tech. That's part one. Part two, however, is going into next week. The market closed today within a whisker of 3 sigma, right? So 3 sigma, you can go on Google, type in 3 sigma probability. That happens about once, and it's really less than 1% of the time. So if you have 100 coin flips, it'll happen once. That's probably a bad analogy, but if you have 100 events, you would expect that to happen 1 out of 100. In reality, it's actually less than that, but let's just say 1 out of 100. So the market's within a stone's throw of that right now, as it closed today. What does that mean? It means that this market would benefit tremendously from just a little bit of consolidation or just a minor pullback back to support. So kind of try to hold both ideas in your head. One, potential blow off top for the summer is in play, which would include a broadening out of the rally. And two, in the very near term, it's statistically quite a thin spot up here, right? So it's just a little bit of a cautionary signal going into next week. But with that said, everything's firing on all cylinders here. And if we start to see any type of rotation back into the unloved parts of the market, this thing is uncapped for the summer. So hopefully this was helpful to you guys. Again, before you go somewhere else on YouTube, do leave us a like, leave us a comment, and we'll catch up again next Friday. Have a great weekend, guys. Cheers. Hey traders, this is Sam with Simpler Trading. I want to thank you for watching today's video. Hopefully you found the information in it helpful. If you did, leave us a like, leave us a comment. It really does help us out with the algorithm. And if you want to see us trade live with our own real money and be part of the community, come and check us out at simplertrading.com.